In today's video, we're going to be working on the Seadoo XP Limited, changing out the coupler. This engine is for another project. Not going to be working on this one just yet, but I stole the part from this one because this one we were out riding the other day. Same thing, 2000 Seadoo XP Limited. And the coupler, the dampener, the rubber, whatever you want to call this piece that goes between the engine and your drivetrain there, it had an aftermarket one in here, one of those red aftermarket ones, and it absolutely disintegrated while I was riding yesterday. So I just robbed this authentic OEM one. It looks to be in great shape, still nice and soft, and it is the true OEM part instead of the cheap aftermarket ones, because the one that was in there was like almost like a hard plastic. I don't even know where it is. It's red in color, and it's somewhere in here, but if you guys can see there, it is a metal on metal contact right now. Somewhere in the hole there's a piece that looks like this is red, probably in a million pieces, but I have not found it yet. So what I'm gonna do is, if you have one of these, you could have any machine, and it could be a similar or different configuration, but regardless, you're gonna have your engine and you're gonna have your shaft going through. So, and they're all pretty much mounted the same. So there's an engine mount in the front here on the mag cover. Then there's a engine mount there and an engine mount here. So there's 3 engine mounts. You can take off the pipe, but I'm going to, these pieces, if you're working on XP by the way, these are just vent hoses that go there. I already just yanked them out and kind of threw them off to the side, so we'll discard those. But I don't want to take off the pipe again, because having to reseal this is a pain in the butt, in my opinion. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to detach it over here from this coupling here. There's just a little band clamp there. And I'm just going to slide it far enough forward that I can sneak this in and then put it right back, because I don't feel like redoing that V-band clamp with the high temp silicone and all that nonsense. I don't want to disconnect everything. I'm just simply going to remove the 3 engine mounts, slide this forward, and with the addition of that coupling right there, slide everything forward enough to sneak this in, and hopefully we can get the job done like that. I do have an engine hoist if we need to bust that out. I don't think I should be able to just move it forward by hand, but depending on how strong you guys are, you may or may not want to just anchor it, lift it up a little bit and help yourself, but I'm going to attempt to do it just by hands. I was able to get this one out by hand by removing those 3 bolts and sliding the engine forward and pop this out. So I'll try to do something similar here. Let me get those 3 engine mount bolts out. They're 13 mil. One's right here, literally right here below the pipe. Like I said, the other 2 are there. So let me get those bolts out and loosen off that clamp, and we'll see how far we get. Honestly, you guys, about 10-15 minutes and I'm already at this point. So you can see, hopefully you can see, let me get the light in there. So you can see there, I have it decoupled. I don't even think that slid off necessarily. I just kind of manipulated it. What I did do is take out the bolts, if you guys can see down here. I took out the bolts for the engine mount, because if you don't take out the bolts, the front, at least on the 951, the front of the mag cover will end up hitting the engine mount and prevent you from sliding it forward. So I took out the actual mount bolts to the hull so that I could slide it all forward. And now I should be able to sneak in that rubber piece in there, and then hopefully I can slide this thing back. So let me do that, and I'll update you guys in a minute here. Okay, so I did decide to use the engine hoist just to lift it up enough so I can get the coupling in here, because both of them are kind of just overlapping each other. So rather than try to scoot it even further forward, I'm just kind of tilting it up like this, and then I can get this thing in there. So not much to see here, just shove this in and then I can resume putting everything back together. Okay, so it turns out somehow, some way, even though they are supposed to be the same machine, that coupling is actually a different style than this one. So I gotta order that same big red one, and should be here in a few days, and then I can continue the process. Okay, so it's a few days later, you guys, post Hurricane Ian, so that's why everything is all over the place in different areas. But I ended up having to order this piece because the other one was not the correct one. So even though I pulled it out of the other used Seadoo that I had, there was a clear difference in the 2 pieces. So I managed to find this online. This one seems flexible and rubber and whatnot. I do like this one. This one looks a lot softer and more forgiving, but maybe there's a reason. Either way, this is the one that we need. Not that one, even though it came out of an identical machine, but there was a difference there. So let's go ahead. We're gonna slip this on, get it in between the 2 pieces, and then I can put the engine and attach it to the shaft there. We got the new piece in there. It slides in beautifully, you guys. So just tucks in there like that. And I just, like I said, I just lifted up the engine from this one lifting point here, and now I'm just gonna put it back in, slide that back in, and just made it up. There's really no rocket science to this. You literally just made up the two ends as you lower the engine and slide it in. Okay guys, so engine mounts, the one there with the bolts, everything's tight. We got our new coupling in there. You can see the red. Also, not a bad idea to check your spacing. So you can see there, at least on this model, it goes through the fuel tank. So you can see it is dead smack there as well. I kind of did a little bit of adjusting getting this because I was struggling to get that engine mount bolt back in. So I kind of repositioned everything, got it good. And this doesn't have a ton of play in it, so it's not like this is free floating. So because you can move the engine back and forth, so make sure that you don't have any excessive play here, that it's good and snug. And you can roll it over also, make sure that it doesn't look like it's binding anywhere or anything strange. And that is it. So I will link those parts down in the description below, whether you have that one, the red coupling that looks like that one, or the other one. I would recommend taking yours apart first and seeing which one you have. You can kind of notice the difference. You'll see mine here, and yours should potentially be red as well. You can see the difference on how they look. So if you guys are curious which one you might have before you potentially take it apart, hopefully you guys can kind of see that difference there. So this one has much larger pieces of rubber that would be showing from the top when you look at it, whereas the one that has the red coupling there, it kind of just has like little slivers inside. So just a little bit different design. Like I said, you'll be able to see probably more rubber here. Also, the one that has like this design, this more of a leaf shape, it has curved metal portions, whereas mine has straight, flat, square fingers on it. The ones that use this, it kind of has a curve in it. So I don't know if you guys can see that curve indentation on each one. The fingers are not just square cut, they have that curve on it. So two different styles. Check out which one you have. If you guys like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Check out the other Seadoo repair content. We've got the boat, we've got this, tons of videos on here. So check out the other ones, subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next video.